Hello and welcome to another video from Natasha Lee. Now, as you can probably tell, I've been feeling particularly sparkly and glittery this last few weeks. I think I might do something brightly coloured next week, but I just couldn't resist doing these ones this week. I was feeling in a really lilac glittery mood. This look is super easy to achieve, so stay tuned to find out how. As always, I'm going to begin by cleansing, filing and performing cuticle work, and if you want to know how I do this, there's a link in the top right corner which explains all the gels etc. I use on my nails. And once I've cleansed with 99% isopropyl alcohol, I'm going straight in with my Peel Off base coat. Just apply a nice thin layer to all 10 nails and allow to dry, or if you prefer, just do 5 nails at a time on each hand. Next, I'm going in with OPI's Tiramisu for 2, and we're going to apply this to our forefingers, but not our thumb on each hand. If you apply that first coat really carefully, it means that you can apply your second coat much quicker. But as you can see, I made a few mistakes, but those can be cleaned up with a brush dipped in nail polish remover or acetone. And full links to all the products used in this video are detailed in the description down below. Once the first coat is dry, then go in with your second coat and allow that to dry, and then we're going to apply foil adhesive to our ring and middle finger. Now on the ring finger, we're just going to apply it about 2/3 of the way down, and then on our middle finger we're going to do the full nail and then allow to dry. And as you can see, when you apply it, it is blue, but that's perfectly normal and it will dry clear. Now, I normally have a rule when I use nail art products that I want them to be available to everyone, but unfortunately for this look, I really needed this tone of glitter from Iridescent. And if you're outside of the UK, then you can buy this directly from them. But inside of the UK, you do have to go to their authorised stockist, and unfortunately, you do have to be a professional. But there are other alternatives if you're not quite as pernickety as me when it comes to matching up your glitter with your nail polish. And once you've started at the tip of the nail and then brushed down to create this graduated effect, I'm going to add a bit more depth with Magpie Beauty's Nora Dust, and this is available to absolutely everyone and the link is in the description. And I'm just going to pat that over to about halfway down the nail and then brush over thoroughly to make sure it just sticks to any of the gaps in between the glitter. And then I'm just going to apply 2 coats of top coat over the top. Now, if you're happy with your look after just 1 coat, then that's great, don't bother going in with the second, but I really don't like to have any texture on my nails when I've been using glitter, so once the first coat is dry, I use the second. And then on my middle finger, I'm going to use this beautiful glitter called Lily from Magpie, and we're going to apply this over the whole nail, as this is the nail that we covered top to bottom with the foil adhesive. And once you've brushed it on, just really firmly make sure it's all brushed down. And then I'm going to add a bit of extra sparkle with Magpie Dust in Iris, which, as you can see, has this gorgeous, gorgeous bluey purple vibrancy to it. And that just fills in the gaps in between the glitter. And once you feel you've got a good coverage, just go in briskly with your brush to remove any of the excess and make sure it's fully covered. And that's before we go in with a water-based top coat over the middle and ring finger. And this is because if we use a normal top coat straight over the foil adhesive, it can crack and craze the design. Just apply a thin coat to both nails and allow to dry. And then go in with your preferred top coat and apply a nice even layer to both the middle and the ring finger. Once that's dried, I'd say probably go in with a second coat, and that's just to avoid any roughness on the nail which can arise from using glitters with nail polish. I just bought this gorgeous colour from Colour Club, which is a lovely sort of lavendery lilac, very fine holographic, and we're going to apply 2 coats of this to the thumb and allow to dry. Now on our little or pinky finger where we had the 2 layers of the OPI Tiramisu for 2, I'm just marking out a centre point on each side because we're going to be doing some lines, and I want to make sure that I get them straight across the nail. This can be easier doing it on yourself, but doing it under camera can be a little bit harder. And I'm going back in with the Date with Destiny from Colour Club and a fine detail brush, and we're just going to go straight across that nail and try and match up those dots as best as possible. I didn't quite manage it, but we'll get away with hiding that in a moment. Then with a longer striping brush, I'm going to create a triangle shape, and you can go in a few times just to perfect this. You don't have to worry if you don't get it on the first stroke. If you don't have any of these nail art tools like a fine detail brush or a striping brush, then I'm putting a link in the top right corner for you now on a video that I've done, which will show you how to make your own nail art tools from things you have around the house. And I was planning on leaving the design there, but I can't leave things alone, so I started adding some extra lines because I felt it just looked a little bit bare. And you can do this however you prefer. I often find that my ideas tend to flow as I'm working, and I never have a strict plan quite in place of what I'm going to do. Once you're happy with your design, just simply allow it to dry, and once it's dry we're going to go straight in with our glossy top coat. Now I'm just going to apply one layer of this and allow it to dry before we go in with our matte top coat. And this is basically because I find that if you apply a glossy top coat under a matte, it gives a much better and more durable effect. And also it stops your matte top coat brush dragging up the colours, and then when you put the brush back in the bottle it starts to taint the matte top coat. So I just find this is the best way all round, and it does dry so quickly so it doesn't really matter. And to finish the look on our little finger, I'm going to be using Tanzanite SS5 Swarovski crystals along with Crystal AB in SS3. And using an orange wood stick, I've applied a dot of top coat, the glossy one, and then I'm using my crystal katana to put my crystal in place. Just pat it down to make sure it stays in place, or if you prefer you could use nail glue, but I like to use the top coat as I think it's a bit easier to remove. And then I'm just going to apply two SS3 crystals, which are the super tiny ones. And for your final nail, which is your index or pointer finger, I'm going to just apply a top coat over the 2 layers of the Tiramisu for 2 and allow that to dry, before again I go back in with my OPI matte top coat and apply a nice even layer to the whole nail, and then make sure it's properly dry before you start work on it. And again for this look I'm going to be using Swarovski crystals Tanzanite in SS5 and Crystal AB in SS5 and SS3. Begin by placing a dot of top coat, the glossy one, not the matte, at the centre of the nail at the bottom, and apply a Tanzanite crystal. And then I'm going to build up the look by using an SS5 crystal either side along with some silver caviar beads. And basically again, I don't ever really have a firm idea in my mind, I just know I want to create a pointed shape. So I just keep adding crystals and caviar beads until I've got the sort of shape that I'm after without any gaps. And I'm basically just going to keep going. I've put 2 of the purple crystals in. I did think both were Tanzanite, but turns out one is a different colour and I don't know what it is, but it's pretty anyway. And then just keep going and pushing down. Do make sure you push them down into the polish, as it makes them stay a little bit longer and they don't pop off quite so easily. And when you're happy with the design, you can just leave it to dry. Clean up any remaining nails where there's any mess around the nails using a brush dipped in nail polish remover or acetone. And then we're going to apply our cuticle oil to the skin around the nails and then massage it in carefully. Just remember to be careful when applying it on the matte nails as it can make them shiny. And here is the gorgeous finished look, and I think these are perfect for coming right into springtime and the weddings and prom seasons going on. Or actually, you don't need a party, just wear them to look fantastic. I love this look, and let me know what you think of it. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for nail art tutorials every weekend. If there's any particular looks or ideas that you have in mind and you'd like to see me give them a go, please leave them in the comments section down below. I love a good challenge. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to check out my other channel, Ginger Tash, as well as subscribe for more videos. And please check out my other videos, including my nails playlist. Thank you very much for watching.